Shocking revelation. Jerusalem's Temple Mount is not the location of the Holy Temple of Jerusalem, the temple that Solomon built, the location of the first and second temples. Of course, the Hebrews do not accept the fact that the Wailing Wall, the location of the Wailing Wall, is not the location of the actual Solomon temple, the first and second temple. They do not believe that, but there is abundant, startling discovery and revelation concerning the actual location of Mount Zion, the city of David. It's to the south of Jerusalem, as you can see here in the yellow circle towards the top left-hand side. And just below that circle, you can see there Siloam Pool. This is the location of the Gihon Spring. This is also where they found recently relics of ancient temple. Besides the fact that that is the location of the Gihon Spring, the Siloam Pool, they also found an oil press there. Oil press that they needed for their liturgical services. And this is it here. Mount Zion as we see it today. As you can see, it has nothing to do with the huge area of the Temple Mount, where the Wailing Wall is, to the west. Now, I will leave a link below for you to see a half-hour video concerning this. There are many videos, but this is having to do with archaeologists and historians and theologians who have gone to look for the exact and true location of the temple. And they have discovered things in the city of David, as we said here, Mount Zion. And not, this is that we see Mount Zion from the location of the Mount of Olives. As you can see, it's not that well populated. As you can see here again on this map, Temple Mount is here on this picture to our lower right. And it has nothing to do with that area, which is the Antonia fortress, which is the Roman encampment that the Romans had when they had control of Jerusalem. A lot of the Hebrews, of course, will not accept this fact, but the historians state that, as we know from history, the nation of Israel was expelled from Jerusalem after the destruction of the city in about 70 AD. And they stayed away for about 1,000 years. After some of them started coming back and returning, they did not know the exact location of where Solomon's temple, the Jerusalem temple, actually was. And they believed it was the location of where the Wailing Wall is now. Mount Zion is a hill in Jerusalem outside the walls of the old city. The term Mount Zion being used in the Hebrew Bible for the first city of David, and later for Temple Mount. That's because its meaning shifted. It's now used for the name of ancient Jerusalem's western hill. The etymology of the word Zion is uncertain. The Bible in the book of Samuel has the name of the Jebusite fortress conquered by King David. Its origins likely predates the Israelites. If Semitic, it may be associated with the word of Hebrew root Sion, meaning castle. There are three different locations that they believe the Temple of Solomon would have been at. The name Mount Zion refers successively to three locations as Jerusalemites preserve the time-honored name, but shift to the location they venerate as a focal point of biblical Jerusalem to the site considered most appropriate in their own time. The lower eastern city, the hill of David, the city of David. At first, Mount Zion was the name given to the Jebusite fortified city, as we said, on the lower part of ancient Jerusalem eastern hill, which is known as the city of David. According to the book of Samuel, Mount Zion was the site of the Jebusite fortress called the Stronghold of Zion that was conquered by King David, then renamed and partially rebuilt by him as the city of David. That's where he erected his palace. The upper eastern hill. Once the first temple was erected at the top of the eastern hill, the name Mount Zion migrated there too. After the conquest of the Jebusite city, its built-up area expanded northward towards the uppermost part of the same eastern hill. This highest part became the site of Solomon's Temple. It's not where Temple Mount is today, it's on the eastern part of the map that we said. The identification of the pre-Israelite Jebusite and Israelite towns on the eastern hill is based on the existence of only one perennial water source in the area, the Gihon Spring, and on archaeological excavations revealing sections of the Bronze Age and Iron Age city walls and water systems. Mount Zion, mentioned in the latter parts of the book of Isaiah and in the book of Psalms and the first book of the Maccabees, seems to refer to the top of the hill, generally known as Temple Mount. Western Hill, today's Mount Zion, is not the correct location of the city of David, where Solomon built his temple. In 1876, an Englishman, Henry Maudsley, discovered a large segment of rock scrap and numerous ancient dressing stones in Mount Zion, where they were believed to be the base of Josephus' first wall. Several of these stones were used to construct a retaining wall outside the main gate of the Bishopgate School, later known as the American Institute of Holy Land Studies. Now, Mount Zion, as we said, is nowhere near the Temple Mount. If you carefully listen, there's a lot of details in the link I'll leave below for you. If you carefully listen, I'm still listening to it. I've seen it 3 times, but I'm still looking at it because it's just bewildering, all this evidence that they have found. It's nowhere on the Temple Mount. Temple Mount, they explain very carefully, was the location of the Roman legion. About 6,000 men. I'm sorry, it's thundering now outside. That's thunder that you're hearing. 6,000 men and their helpers, their pages, and they estimate that they would have been a total of at least 10,000 men. And obviously these 10,000 men were to fit in what is now the Temple Mount area, the enclosed with the wall all around that section, and they claim and they show us that it's also the dimensions of what they had found in other areas where Romans had their camps, in Masada, for example. And I think you'll enjoy it. There's a lot of details here. So the shocking thing is that the Hebrews, the Israelis, do not accept the fact that Mount Zion, the city of David, which is about 600 yards south of the Temple Mount, where the temple of the Muslim temple of Omar is situated, they do not accept the fact that here we have the tomb of David in Mount Zion. They do not accept the fact that the city of David and Solomon's temple was found south is to be found south of the Temple Mount, which is actually the Antonia Fortress. So the Wailing Wall basically has nothing to do with Solomon's temple. And it's unfortunate that that means, it appears, that the Hebrews are wailing at a wall that is actually a part of the Roman fortress and has nothing to do with Solomon's temple. It never did. The other sad thing is that there are people that expect that the Temple of Omar on the Temple Mount will be destroyed so that the third temple will be rebuilt on that exact location, because that was, they say, the exact location of Solomon's temple. But they seem to have it all wrong. I'll leave a link below for you for this very interesting video. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.